Some investors spend millions buying something that earns no rent, has no building, and sometimes does absolutely nothing for years. Just empty land. So why would someone with serious money deliberately choose the empty one? Because experienced land investors are often not buying what exists today. They are buying what could arrive tomorrow. To most people, undeveloped land looks like grass, dirt, and distance. A serious investor may see access, population growth, infrastructure, demand, and scarcity. One of the first things they study is the direction the city is growing. Sometimes the opportunity begins with nothing more than a road drawn on a planning map. Then earthworks begin. Machines arrive. Drainage is cut. The route starts becoming real. And once access improves, land that once felt far away suddenly becomes connected. Movement brings businesses. Businesses attract people. And people begin creating something that empty land never had before: demand. When movement increases, businesses start following the people who use that road every day. New businesses create jobs, and jobs bring people closer to the area. And once people begin working nearby, they also need somewhere to live. The land itself has not changed, but everything around it has. Now, several different buyers may want the same piece of ground for completely different reasons. And as development spreads, the supply of well-positioned empty land begins shrinking. You can build another house, but you cannot create another piece of land in the exact same location. This is when the market may begin pricing the land differently, not because the soil changed, but because the location did. Imagine buying before the road, before the shops, and before the neighborhood becomes obvious to everyone else. But this only works when the investor is studying evidence, not simply hoping. Cheap land and strategic land are not the same thing. What experienced investors are really buying is position, before the rest of the market fully recognizes its value. Now imagine two similar plots of land in the same growing city. Plot A sits inside a developed area. Everyone already understands why it is valuable. Plot B is cheaper, quieter, and far less impressive. But the planning map tells a different story. Growth is moving directly toward it. For a while, almost nothing appears to happen. Then access arrives, and the first major barrier disappears. Businesses begin appearing because the road now carries people, goods, and opportunity. Soon, workers and families begin demanding homes closer to the new activity. Notice what happened. The land is still empty. What changed was everything around it. Now more people want the same limited piece of land. Better access, rising demand, and limited supply begin putting upward pressure on price. The investor did not buy grass and dirt. They bought access, demand, scarcity, and time, wrapped inside one location. But this is also where many people make a costly mistake. A low price alone does not make land a good investment. Sometimes the road investors expected is delayed, redirected, or never built. Urban plans change, routes move, projects get canceled, and assumptions can collapse. A bad title can turn an attractive plot into money you cannot safely use or resell. Access may exist on paper but still be too poor to support real development. A plot that looks perfect in dry weather may become expensive once drainage and soil problems appear. And while you wait, the land may still cost money to hold. Money tied up in land is money you cannot use somewhere else. Some land stays cheap for a reason, and can remain that way for years. That is why serious investors verify the title, survey, access, planning, infrastructure, and real demand. The principle is simple: buy evidence, not promises. So what exactly are experienced investors looking for before they buy an empty plot? First, direction. Where is the city physically expanding? Second, access. How easily can people and businesses actually reach the area? Third, infrastructure. Roads, drainage, power, and utilities make land far more usable. Fourth, demand. Who will eventually need land, homes, shops, or services there? And fifth, scarcity. As useful land disappears, competition for what remains can increase. Notice something important. Price comes after the fundamentals, not before them. The cheapest plot can be the worst deal, while the most expensive may already have most of its growth priced in. The opportunity investors search for is often somewhere between pure speculation and fully priced development. And land investing usually requires something many people underestimate: time. This is one reason wealthy investors can have an advantage. They may be able to wait without needing the land to pay them immediately. But patience is only intelligent when there is evidence that the original investment thesis is still developing. A strategically located plot can become valuable even before anyone knows exactly what will eventually be built on it. That flexibility is called optionality. One asset can leave several future decisions open. A completed building already answers the question, what will this property be? Empty land can keep that question open. And this is the strange power of land. It can stay exactly where it is while the city moves toward it. In many cases, what the investor is really purchasing is enough time for those changes to happen. The smartest investors are not fortune tellers. They are trying to place themselves where the probabilities are better. One road project means little by itself, but several independent signals can begin forming a much stronger pattern. The advantage is not simply being early. It is being early with evidence. Often, wealth provides something more useful than a bigger check: the ability to wait without being forced to sell. And that is why the strategy is harder than it looks. Good land can require years of doing almost nothing. So when you look again at that empty field, it should no longer look quite as empty. That is why experienced investors keep buying empty land. They are not simply buying grass and dirt. They are buying position, where future access, people, demand, and scarcity may eventually meet.